Good morning. I'm Officer Kioltyka with new Lenox Police Department, and today I'm actually going to be presenting. We're going to talk about scams and personal safety. So we shall begin. All right. I'm just going to ask this question. Does anyone in this room know what a scam is, or maybe an idea of what scams are? If you know, you want to raise your hand and maybe tell me.
See it on the news all the time.
See it on the news all the time? What kind of scams do you see?
I mean, you know, your phone scams, bank scams.
Mm-hmm.
You name it.
Yeah.
Almost anything.
There's a lot of scams out there, and actually we're going to cover a variety of different scams that we are facing across the country currently, and especially New Lenox, Manhattan, Okina, Frankfurt. So pretty much a scam is fraud. So it's the intentional use of deceit. Somebody wants to trick a person with being dishonest. They want to deprive another person of his or hers money, property, or legal right. So pretty much it's somebody who is trying to take your information and use it against your will. So such scams that we're going to be talking about today, we have IRS scams, texting, computer hackers, major utility scams, spoofing, mail, bank letters, emails, bail bond, and phishing. Have you guys heard of these kind of scams?
Sure.
Pretty familiar with them? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So let's start out with a very common one, is elder fraud. Let me see what's going on here. Here we go. So each year, millions of elderly Americans fall victims of some kind of financial fraud. Seniors are often targeted because they're trustworthy, they're polite, often have financial savings, own a home, have good credit. Seniors be less inclined to report fraud because they don't know how it occurred or may feel embarrassed about being scammed. So that is a big one as well. Sometimes we do face other seniors in our community. They're just too embarrassed to admit that they have been scammed because it's embarrassing, right? Getting scammed. Nobody really wants to admit that, especially if it's a huge loss of money taken against our will. With the elderly population growing and seniors incurring more than $3 billion in losses annually, elder fraud is likely to be a growing problem. So common elder fraud that we have is a romance scam. Have many of you guys heard about romance scams?
You've heard about it?
Oh yeah, it's a big one. Same with the sweetheart scams, which we'll get into as well. So it's criminals, mainly not from America, who pose an interest in romantic partners on social media. Platforms can be Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook is a big one. And what they try to do is, over the phone, they try to sweet talk people over the phone, over the internet, emails, messaging, things like that. So US victims over 60 in 2020 accounted for over $281 million in romance scams. Okay, so we're going to further it on. It's the sweetheart scam. It's the romance scam. It's pretty much for those who, when love is blind, you know, when you start having infatuations with people, especially people you don't know, you start trusting these people, even though they're strangers. So that's why they say love is blind. They target the elderly, widowed population on social media platforms. So if we have social media, let's say Facebook, if you do have your relationship status as widowed, they do try to target those community members to gain financial gain out of these individuals. So they like to serenade individuals over the phone to sweep them off their feet with emotional intelligence. They try to promise other individuals that they will fly to spend time with the targeted victims. So if you're talking to a stranger online, what they'll try to do is try to sweet talk you and say, I promise, sweetie, I'm going to see you soon. I'm going to be there. Can you please just wire transfer me $1,000 and next month I'll be at your house. Now, if somebody asks you to transfer $1,000, do you guys get like a gut feeling that something may be wrong?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Anybody who's asking you for money, especially like wire fraud, or if you can send them money through an account transfer, that's a big red flag. Anybody? Yeah.
I had one just recently where it looked like my bank logo came up.
Yeah.
And they said that somebody was trying to get into my account. And they were talking to me, and for a second, I'm thinking, are you really who you are, or should I call my bank to find out if,
Bingo.
you know what I mean? And finally, they were asking me questions about stuff. They didn't get around to like Social Security or not like that, but they were asking, probably trying to get me comfortable.
Try to get you
And all
comfortable.
of a sudden, they mentioned something that I'm not associated with.
Uh-huh.
And I hung up.
Good for
And then
you.
I called the bank and they said that there were a couple of other ones that were being associated with my bank, and they shut down all the accounts.
Perfect. Yep, it sounds like you were potentially being scammed,
Yeah.
especially if anybody is trying to gain like personal information through texting or emails, which in this presentation we will cover. That's a big red flag. Banks normally will never have you provide personal information through text messaging or through email. It's usually over the phone or in person. Okay, so let's talk about some common elderly fraud. So tech support scams. How many of you guys actually had this maybe pop up? That your computer is at risk, you need to pay this fine. Call this number now, you have 24 hours to respond. So criminals pose a technology support and offer to fix non-existent computer issues, and that's a big one we do deal with. The scammers gain remote access to victims' devices and sensitive information. That could be your computers, your cell phone information, things in that nature. So as you can see here in this picture, there's a little box here that might pop up, might have you they might try to encourage you to call this number, and when you call them, they're going to tell you you have a virus on your computer, it can't be fixed without me getting this information. I need to know your address, your age, your email address, and those things. So that's a big red flag. Usually when people face that, what you would do is just hang up the phone, block that number. You could even reach out to this company and see if they're legit, things like that. So let's talk about the grandparent bail bond. I don't know if many of you have heard of this. All right, this is another common one. So criminals pose a relative, usually child or grandchild, claiming, pose as a relative, usually claiming to be a grandchild, claiming to be in immediate financial need. So just don't panic, just take a deep breath, and just remember, just don't send any money unless you're sure it's the real person who contacted you. Hang up and call your grandchild or friends by calling their phone numbers to see if the stories check out, because that happens a lot where criminals gain access to your phone information, and they might have access to your contacts and know that you have a niece or nephew or grandchildren out there and let you know, hey, I've been arrested last night. I need you to send me over $2,500 to get me out of jail. Can you do it through gift cards? Can you do it through a wire transfer? That's a huge red flag. Normally, we don't ever do that. We would have them call you. You'd meet us at the police department. We'd provide you the information that way. So you also could call a different family member or a different friend just to kind of see if the stories are adding up. But yeah, just if anybody is ever asking you for gift cards, that's a big no. No police departments or any other federal agency would ever require you to pay through gift cards or credit cards. All right, so phishing on the internet. This is a big one. This is where emails that are made to look real with the same logos, colors as your bank, eBay payers, Amazon accounts, Chase Bank. For example, if someone sends you an email and pretends to be you from your bank, that's a big no-no. So ask your bank for information. They ask, whoa, hang on, sorry, let me go back here. All right, hey Jeff. How's it going? All right, so they ask for your bank information, your account numbers, as your account has been compromised, your account has been suspended or needs to update, that we need to update your account information. Banks would never ask you this information over the internet, so that's when you know this is possibly a scam. So that's one thing we need to be worry about, is just being careful with the people we can trust online. Here's an example. It says your Bank of America account has been locked. And again, if this is the case, you would want to call your bank and see if this is actually legit or not, because there might be a link on here for this criminal to gain more information, such as your age, again, your address, maybe your account numbers, and then now they have all your personal information. So that is a huge red flag. If you ever see anything like this, just go to your bank or call them directly. Okay, so 5 ways to tell if your email is spam. Okay, so if it ends up in your spam or junk folder, how many of you guys actually check your spam or junk folder? Okay, all right, so sometimes this does happen. Yeah, but again, we just got to see the legitimate, like see if it's legitimate or not. So we want to look at the email address. As you can see, companies' websites, for example, in order to have a legitimate email, they would email you their company name, like for instance, support@microsoft.com. So if you see a long string of numbers or an @ sign or the name of the free email service before the .com or any of the domain, you need to question the legitimacy of the email in question. So let's say if it was like Chase Bank going to email you guys something, if it's like 1234 @ no reply chase.com, do you think that's legitimate? No, that's somebody trying to phish you. Usually it's gonna be a direct email from Chase Bank right to your email. All right, so you wanna look at the content too. Sometimes like the URLs are misspelled, have numbers in them, but a big one is when you're seeing like misspellings in your URLs, which is like right here on the top by the new tab. So like yoursite.com. So that's one thing you wanna be worried about is like if it's not spelled correctly. Like if somebody spelled FedEx and they didn't spell it right, then you know for sure that's not legitimate. If they ask for your personal information, kind of like I mentioned earlier, you know, they're not supposed to ask you these kind of questions over the internet. This is directly in person with your bank account or with your bank people. It is not over the internet like this. They don't ask you your first name, last name, and then birth date, email address, and your password. Don't give them those information. Don't give them that information because that's not legit. All right, so look at the greeting here. You know, when you receive a genuine email, the send addresses you directly using either the first or last name. If you receive an email where they refer to you as a valued customer or a member of some company, it is spam. Usually when you get an email, they direct you by your name, not just valued customer. All right, so I'm going to show you some examples here. As you can see, it says Western Union, dear customer. This is an issue that we have. As you can see here, do you see your name on here? Anybody's name on here? No. No. All right. So if you get an email like this that says, hey, we need your full name, address, phone number, occupation, and your age, this is a huge red flag. This is spam. All right. This is definitely somebody who's trying to scam you. And as you can see here, sincerely, WT Management, Nigeria. Do you think that sounds accurate?
No.
No, so we need to fully read our emails before we respond to them too. All right. Here's a fake PayPal email. All right, dear PayPal member, that's the first red flag. They don't address you by your actual name. All right, and then they're gonna say, please update your billing information today by clicking here to update. After a few clicks, just verify information you entered is correct. All right, see, that's not legitimate either. Here's Chase. All right, as you can see, I know it's kind of small. I don't know if you guys can see this, but again, we have some numbers here, and you always want to check to make sure that if you guys know your ending routing numbers or your bank numbers, that it matches and that is correct. Right here, following, it is misspelled. Can you guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another red flag here. All right, this is a potential scam. All right, and especially this here, they're going to ask you for your user ID and password. Now the scammer is going to gain your information. Here's Amazon. All right, so anybody who emails you saying like information for payment, please update before 24 hours or your account will be permanently locked. They wouldn't do that to you if it was legit. All right, they would call you, give you some time to fix whatever the issue is. And again, they're just trying to gain your information. So Amazon will have your email address here. See this right here, Amazon.com, no reply. That's not legit. Dear customer, Amazon Prime, right here, you see this? And they want you to update account information. So they want you to click this button and add your current information here. So if you don't feel comfortable responding to these emails, don't. You could always just delete them. You could contact Amazon or speak to customer service directly, you know, instead of talking to them via email, because they would be able to let you know if it's legitimate or not. Okay. Mail scams. How many of us have had mail scams before? All right, yep, had them. All right, so right here it looks like you just got sent a check for $13.98. All right, so that's a big no-no. Okay, so we're going to talk about foreign lottery scams. It's illegal. All right, definitely illegal. All right, so the envelope and check they send you looks real. So you see this picture here? The scammers will usually send you a check for your partial winnings and then ask you to cash it. They will also want you to send a MoneyGram wire transfer to them to cover taxes. But in about 2 weeks, you'll get a notification that the check bounced and you will be out of money of the check, and your bank will charge you an NSF fee for the bounced check. So the check will be returned to the scammer, and they'll know your bank name and account information. So we need to be extra careful, especially when we have foreign lottery scams like this. All right, so just be wary of that. Key points to remember. Just remember to contact the business directly when you get that squirrely feeling in your stomach that it doesn't seem right. Remember to check, the HTTPS, which is, the URL at the top to make sure it's accurate, that there's no misspellings. Ask yourself, did I enter a sweepstakes or not? And look at the actual messages versus the numbers. So IRS scams. Has anybody actually ever had an IRS scam? Or anybody threaten you on the phone that they work for IRS?
Yeah,
All right, we had a few of those that happened to us. They're like, you have 24 hours to get back to me with this information. You must, they're very demanding, very aggressive, and you might tell on the phone that there might be a little bit of an accent, and then you hear other computers behind them, like people are talking to other people. IRS. So a few things about the IRS. They will send you a bill through the U.S. Postal Service first and then let you know you owe taxes, offer you an opportunity to question or appeal the amount of taxes you owe, instruct you to make payments through the United States Treasury. So scammers, what they do, they call and demand immediate payment by a prepaid debit card, gift card, or wire transfer. So that's a big red flag right there. Threaten to bring a local police or law enforcement groups to have you arrested or deported for not paying. Yes?
You know what I did? I got one for, the scam for the IRS. I asked for the phone number. I want to call and talk to your superior.
Good.
Click.
They clicked? Perfect. It's that easy. You can always block them and just never do any kind of payment over the phone, because then if you do a payment, now it's considered a crime, because now they gain access to your money. So, all right, demand payment without giving you the opportunity to question or appeal the amount they say you owe. So they're going to talk very fast. They're going to try to distract you, and they're going to try to get that money as quickly as possible from you. All right, so scammers also contact taxpayers by email, text message, through social media. That's a big red flag, to request personal or financial information, such as PINs, passwords, credit cards, or bank information. So here's some IRS numbers. If you know you owe taxes or think you may owe taxes, if you guys need to take a picture of this with your cell phones, go ahead. This is just some updated information and some numbers you can call if you need.
Patience when you call.
Yeah.
Bring your patience.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Going around with you all day
Yeah.
in your pocket.
Yep. So if you need to report any IRS scams, here are some numbers for you. Okay. All right, Social Security scams. This has been around for a long time. Scams involving your Social Security number and benefits are on the rise, as we all know. Government employees will not threaten to take away benefits or ask for money, gift cards, or personal information to protect your Social Security number or benefits. Scammers can fake your caller ID, so don't be fooled if the call seems to be from SSA or the SSA Inspector General's Fund hotline number. So they're pretty creative. If a caller asks for your Social Security number, bank account number, or credit card information, hang up immediately and block the number, because that is not what they do. All right, and at the bottom here, to report Social Security, phone scams, and SSA Inspector General online scams, here's the websites to do so if you guys need that. Okay. All right, texting scams. This is a huge one that I've been seeing as well. Just kind of like the IRS, they're very demanding in text messaging. We have to be very careful of these kind of scammers. So scammers send fake text messages to trick you into giving you their personal information such as passwords, account numbers, social security numbers. If they get that information, they could gain access to your email, bank, or other accounts, or they can even sell your information to other scammers. There's quite a few businesses out there. So scammers often try to get you to click their links, and when you click a link through a text, now they just gained all your information. They have all your credit card information, bank information, contacts, email addresses, so that could be very dangerous. And if that ever happens to you, you need to report that to your local police department. All right? They might try to tell you that, hey, you're going to win free prizes, gift cards, coupons, but they're not real. Scammers will offer you a low or no interest credit card, but there's no deal and probably no card. Promise to help you pay off your student loans, but they won't. Scammers often send fake messages that they have information about your account or your transaction. Scammers might say they noticed some suspicious activity in your account, but they haven't. Claim that there's a problem with your payment information, but there's no problem. Send you a fake invoice and tell you to contact them if you didn't authorize the purchase. But just be careful because that's a scam. And send you a package delivery notification, but it's fake. So we need to be very careful. And here's some examples of what some texting scams can look like. I still get them, and when I get them, I just block them right away. I don't respond to them at all. So I'll kind of let you guys look at these for a minute here. It's going to come from an unknown number, not using the same area code. But if they use the same area code, we just have to be careful.
I got one of those last week.
You did?
It
Yeah.
did that I had bought a washer and dryer, and if it's not you, call this number. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a text. Yeah.
See, it's better just to block them and get them off. Hello, mate.
You know, when you block them, they change the numbers.
Yeah, always.
Why
They
don't
have a
you
million
bother
numbers.
blocking it? Because they keep changing the numbers.
Mhm.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Sometimes it even says, I even get a call on a block number.
Yep, like a black color. Yeah.
What the heck?
That's a red flag. I definitely wouldn't answer that. Hello, let me give you my information. Yeah, no way. For sure. All right, congratulations. You won the lottery. That would be nice. Who wouldn't want to win the lottery, right? That'd be great.
Send the money.
Yep. But we have to be careful. We also have this one here where it's the USPS. There's a parcel that needs to be delivered for you, but it's pending an update. See this? And then here's the link.
I don't know how many
Yeah.
times I got that. It's, you know,
Yeah.
keep an eye on your mail. It's in the mail. You'll be getting it in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it or nothing.
Yeah, so we just need to be careful because all of that is fake news. And these are just intelligent scammers who are trying to gain as much information as possible. So we have to be really careful. So what are these scammers trying to obtain? They're trying to obtain your personal information, social security, bank accounts. They also want to get gift cards from you, money, maybe some Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, maybe some cash. So we need to be very mindful. How do they accomplish this? They try to keep you on the phone. They talk a million words per minute, isolate you from other people. They try to distract you. And they try to make you feel like this is an emergency. You must respond now. You need to send me this money. It's urgent. To keep your account up, you need to send this to me right now. So we need to be very wary of that. Nobody should feel pressured. And especially if you ever feel like you're being scammed, you just hang up the phone immediately and just don't ever give them any information. All right, so has anybody ever heard of ruse burglaries before?
No.
All right, this is pretty popular. Unfortunately, yeah. We have them all over the place, and it's still happening. Even how about like the blacktop scams? You know, we have somebody who's like, oh, hey, your blacktop looks like it needs to be repainted. You know, I'll do it for free. And then after they do it for free, they're demanding that you give them $300. That's another scam. So there's
I've heard about that one.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. So we need to be very mindful. They try to trick the elderly community because they know maybe you are retired, you live at home, you're polite, your house may be paid off, and they just know like, oh, hey, this person might have some money. So the same group that kind of likes to do the blacktop crimes also does the ruse burglary crimes. So it's subjects trying to gain entry into your house and take your valuables, and they work in a group of 2 or more, and somebody could be at your door and then somebody else, while you're speaking to them at the door, another criminal is going behind and kind of scoping out your house, casing your house to see what doors are open. They'll gain entry, maybe turn on the faucet, some water to distract you from any noise that may be occurring inside the house. So it's like a distraction technique. Somebody's at the front door while the other criminal's going inside your house and stealing all your jewelry or nice possessions, money, anything that's valuable. Unfortunately, this does happen, so we just need to be very mindful of these kind of individuals.
New Lenox. I don't know
Yeah.
the woman it happened to, but she lives on Marley Road, so
Mhm.
folks. Utility person came to the front door, same thing. They went in, they stole her money, and it happened again, twice.
Oh, same person?
Same.
Oh, gosh. Well, good thing in this presentation I have some pictures.
She lives in a big house.
Yeah.
So now she said, I'm gonna go live with my son, yeah.
Oh,
They knew-
poor woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good thing we're covering this.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
yeah.
It is a big shame. All right, so let's just talk about some tips to keep you safe online. Don't play online games with people that we don't know in real life, and that's really true. If you do play games with strangers and you shouldn't, don't share personal information. They might try to get your information from you, try to sweet talk you, kind of like a romance scam, but try to be your buddy, your friend. Never send money to people you don't know, definitely. If you're tempted to send money to a stranger and you shouldn't, first have a sanity check with a friend or relative. Kind of talk with them, see if this is a good idea. They might give you some advice and let you know, hey, this doesn't sound right. I would not do that. Then definitely listen to your family members. It's good to have a few options too. Research your case. Know who you're talking to. Remember those URLs, those emails that we talked about, misspellings. If something doesn't seem right, they're demanding that you need to pay it now. That's definitely a sign of possibly being scammed. So change your profile picture as well to a profile picture of like maybe your dog or maybe your garden, your plants, or if for your love for the ocean. If you guys love the ocean, just try not to put your own personal information on that page because unfortunately that's how people become victimized.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. A lot of scammers like to look over Facebook or Instagram on accounts and see, oh wow, they have a really nice family, or they look like they may be single. Let me try to sweet talk them online. See what I can do, be their friend. Yep. All right, so some just general personal safety tips I like to add in here. Walk confidently with your head up. Keep your head on a swivel, especially when you're going grocery shopping. If your purse is by your side, just keep your hand on it. Keep it nice and tight. Stay in well-lit areas. Shop with friends and family. Safety in numbers. Observe the behavior of the people around you. If you feel like you're being followed or if you feel like there's a strange person next to you, just be wary of that. Avoid sitting next to any door, maybe on a public transportation, as thieves may try to gain entry into your purses or your belongings right by the doors because it's easy for them to reach in your purse and then get it right off the bus or the train. And that's that. All right, so in your vehicle, remember to lock your vehicle doors. Just make sure nothing's in plain view because that's what thieves are looking for. Park in a well-lit area if traveling at night. When shopping, put your packages in the trunk. Do you guys actually do that? Put all your groceries in the trunk? All right, perfect. Or let's say you don't have room in your trunk that you could put in the back seat, but cover them. Yep, if you're going back in the store after shopping, move your vehicle to a new spot so you're not being followed. All right, how to keep yourself safe. Don't answer numbers you do not know. Remember, caller ID spoofing exists. Do not give personal information over the phone because that's a big red flag. Ask bank or store associates questions. If something doesn't seem right, you can always call the police. And I put our non-emergency number here at the bottom. Yep. Reporting. When you're reporting a scam, this is just some good information to keep in mind when you're reporting it to the police. The more information you have, the better off you'll be. If we have the maybe potential names of the scammer, company, Facebook names, social media names, date of contact, methods of communication, phone numbers, email addresses, mailing addresses, anything that will be beneficial to build your case is better off for the police as well. Methods of payments, a huge one. And here, we got some other action numbers right on the right-hand side of the screen if anybody wants to take a picture of that as well. Credit bureau, credit checks, which is important.
You know, where you think that most things happen at night, it's not true, it happens during the day. I've gone to 2 things where
Mhm.
they have self-defense for women, and in both
Yeah,
instances
all
was
that.
told during the day. You
Oh,
think
yeah.
that you're safer
Yeah, you
than
get
at
to
night.
my phone to take a
Yeah,
picture of that.
They're really trying to throw off people.
absolutely.
Yeah. And it's scary. They're getting smart out there, and their tactics are always evolving and changing.
Absolutely. And
So we do still have criminals who are awake while we're sleeping, but they're doing different kind of crimes. But the people who are trying to deceive and defraud you, yeah, they do things during normal hours.
You know, as soon as I get in my car, I
Mhm.
lock it. I don't wait to go into reverse when your car automatically locks.
Yeah.
The second I get in, I hit that.
Yeah, there you go.
Because that second they can be in that other door.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's good. At least you're being safe.
yeah.
Okay, so when calling the police, always try to report to the police as soon as possible when the crime occurs. When it's fresh on your mind, you remember the most. So if you call the police right after it happened, the better off you'll be, better off we'll be. You can call 911 and remain anonymous if you don't feel comfortable or if you feel ashamed or embarrassed to provide your information. And you guys don't always have to feel that way. And again, here's our non-emergency number for New Lenox, okay? All right, so you mentioned your friend about getting scammed through utility, right?
Yes.
And we're gonna cover some of these slides now talking about that. So what if someone comes to your door, right? Were you expecting someone? These are just some things to think about. You know, were you expecting anyone? Is there emergency in your residence? Do they have proper identification? Let's say we have somebody that's has a permit in New Lenox to do business. Usually they have an ID or they have a permit from the village, and usually they wear like a jacket or something, letting us know that they're out here for some business work, and they have permission to do so. If they don't, then the police are called. We check the ID, and we also look to see if they have a permit. If not, we ask them to leave. All right. And you also want to see if their vehicle matches the work that they're doing. That's a big one. All right, and how to protect yourself in your house. Don't let anyone inside your residence. Ask a lot of questions, especially if you have people come into your door. Confirm with local law enforcement. Again, that's if you have somebody like out there trying to sell things. Speak through the screen door if you guys have one. Ask specifics on what work needs to be completed or what is the problem. Don't exit the residence, and don't answer the door for people you are not expecting any company from. You know, especially if you leave your house and somebody gets inside your house. That could be a very bad day, very bad situation. ComEd. All right, let's talk about some utility workers. So ComEd will not come into your residence without an appointment. They just check fixed meters, and it's appointment based. So they'll always set up an appointment first. They'll not gain access inside your house. If you need to verify contact, here's the ComEd number. You could always call them and be like, hey, you know, I didn't have a scheduled meeting today with ComEd members here at my house, you know, and they're trying to gain access inside my house. They're going to tell you right away that that is not the procedures of ComEd, and that's when you need to call the police. So ComEd workers never go inside your house. They just make service stops at the meters. Here's NICOR. NICOR. They will only come to your door in case of an emergency. Again, scheduled appointment as well. They will have a badge and appropriate identification. Other gas services will not charge at market rate. And here's the number as well if you guys need it for NICOR. Okay, and some takeaways, all right? Just some information. You don't have to answer the door or let anyone in your house. I don't want you to feel pressured that you must let these individuals inside your house. It's your residence. I mean, you take charge. If you don't feel comfortable, shut the door and don't allow them in and call the police. If you did not initiate contact, phone or email, do not provide personal information. If anyone asks you to pay utilizing a gift card, money transfer, or Bitcoin is likely a scam. You can always call us, the police department, if determining that if this worker is legitimate or not. We could always come out there and verify if it's a scam or if it's legit. Please call us, especially if you have anything suspicious around your house or in your residence, if you feel like something's off, even if it's like an email that you got and they're demanding money, questions, and you don't feel safe, you can always go to the police for that. But it's always good just to block that contact. But if they're still trying to get a hold of you and now you're starting to feel like this is harassment, you're more than welcome to come to the police. All right? All right, so to file some complaints, these are some good websites. Actually, I was looking at them, thanks to Mr. Durs. I would take a picture of this, you know, because they provide you a lot more resources and information as well. This is for unwanted, unsolicited text messages to your cell phone. So if you guys want to, I would take a picture of these numbers. It's important. And you can be anonymous. Oh, sorry. All right, so does anyone have any questions? Again, I'm Officer Kioltyka. That's my phone number, email, and that's our non-emergency number.
TRIAD works to improve the quality of life for seniors by providing an opportunity for the exchange of information between public safety, social services, and seniors. There are no membership papers to fill out or fees to pay. Everyone is welcome to attend. Each month, we present a guest speaker on subjects that keep you informed and up to date on the latest scams, frauds, and other criminal activities. We also discuss safety issues, home preparedness, and staying healthy. TRIAD meets the fourth Thursday of every month. Contact the Lenox Police Department at 815-462-6100 for more information.